Hi, everyone. We're here today to talk about The Long Goodbye, and this will be our final Raymond Chandler adaptation in our series of adaptations about Raymond Chandler novels. And The Long Goodbye, well, FR, what do you think? How shall we start off talking about this one, since the plot is as ridiculous as any other uh, Philip Marlowe story?
Well, the plot to this one is, it's a much different book that it's based on to any of the others. I was
Hmm.
talking to a friend week before last, and he had like the first two, which kind of like the spectacular opening, the big sleep and the fear, are my lovely, and then you have the three kind of in the middle, which are all fantastic mysteries. The High Window, Lady in the Lake, Little Sister. Like I understand how people would find it hard to keep them apart in their minds. They're very good mysteries and very good examples of crime drama and hardboiled fiction, but they're not as spectacular as the two before. And then you get to The Long Goodbye, which is this long rumination on loneliness and friendship and betrayal and even love. And it's this whole other type of book.
Hmm.
So you get the bare bones plot of this film is Marlowe is a private detective who lives alone. His friend Terry Lennox shows up in the middle of the night and asks him to drive him to Mexico. Marlowe does it without question, even though he knows there has to be something wrong. So Marlowe arrives back in LA, is arrested for helping a murderer escape, spends time in custody, is released when the police discover that Terry Lennox has killed himself in Mexico. Marlowe isn't happy with this, but gets on with his life to a certain extent and is hired by one of Terry's neighbors to find her husband, who seems to be in a sanatorium against his will. Um, he gets him out. He gets involved with an incredibly scary gangster, and everything circles back to the initial Terry possibly having killed his wife.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep. That sums it up very well.
Yes,
And I think the part where you said it kind of drags in places, or maybe implied that
right.
it does. I think that
I
was
don't
one
know.
of
I
the
don't know
things
if it
that put
does.
me off this movie at first. That some of the scenes were a bit grueling, where like especially toward the end at that party where Henry Gibson shows up as the creepy doctor and
Yeah,
just starts badgering. This thing goes back and forth between um what's his name?
Julian Hayden.
Yeah, Sterling Hayden as I can't think of the character's name,
Roger
but
Wade.
yeah, it's Sterling Hayden and he go back and forth, and it's just like he just has this whole breakdown scene, and it's like kind of grueling to watch in a sense.
Yeah,
And but to me it was like, okay, we're getting to the real ugly truth here about Hollywood.
yeah,
There was a lot. I mean, the movie starts off with the movie and it starts off with the song and ends with the song Hooray for Hollywood, which is totally
yes,
ironic.
yeah,
Um, in fact, the way I saw it, this movie really is trying to kind of hoisting the hard-boiled um, mythos, if you will, on its own petard,
yeah.
and
But
making fun of Hollywood at the same time.
equally you could argue it's having its cake and eating it, and it is of trying to hoist the hard-boiled mythos. But in the books, Marlowe is this man at a time who
Exactly.
is the sort of the one decent guy left, and he still is here. It's a different kind of betrayal from Elliot Gould, but he's the only one who ever cares. You
Yeah,
know, the police, once they have like the dodgy suicide tool for Terry Lennox, they don't care anymore.
exactly.
Marty
Right.
Augustine, who's the gangster, only cares to the point he gets his money back, and he doesn't care anymore. It's only Marlowe who ever cares about what on earth is happening here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's funny, throughout he says, "That's fine with me," and "That's okay with me."
Yeah.
As if like to brush everything off. He plays
Yeah.
it so glibly that
Yeah.
it's funny. I mean, it ends up being funny, but at the same time, it shows a kind of a casualness. It's almost impossibly cool,
Yeah.
under the circumstances. There are
Yeah.
times, I mean, watching somebody have their face smashed with a Coke bottle is pretty intense.
Yeah.
Even Roger Ebert, I read a review of this movie written by him. He said found it shocking in its
That
suddenness.
scene. I think you said to me before about how you didn't like the violence in the movie, and I was watching it. It's that scene is the main one,
That is it.
and it
That's the
is
one.
absolutely shocking. And the fact it comes so from nowhere,
Yes,
you're
yes,
until that point not given any hints this is about to happen.
that's right. And
Yeah, in fact,
yeah,
goes the other direction of the dialogue from Art Augustine is kind and loving, and then this
precisely.
thing happens.
That's actually great cinema, unfortunately. And it's also a perfect demonstration of just how awful people in that dark, horrible part of society runs. It's just
Yeah,
how dark and horrible it can get when you're dealing with gangsters. I mean, the guy's just psychopathic, or
yeah.
sociopathic, whatever. He
And
has
it's
no,
interesting. It's interesting writing in that it's one incredibly big, vicious moment, and there's nothing like it again. In fact, the
yeah,
final Mark the scene is almost comic, where he gets everyone to strip down to their underwear just to show how
exactly,
honest they
yeah.
are, and Marlowe's refusing to do it.
Uh-huh,
And
yeah.
there is a kind of you can't after what you've seen, you can't read it as a comedy. You know
I
how
know.
quickly this could all go south.
I know. It's like you're playing this way too cool, man. I
Yeah,
mean, I know the dude abides, but really, um, that's kind of what I was thinking of the whole time. His whole devil may care, that's okay with me,
yeah.
struck me as an early the dude abides.
There is there. I mean, there's obviously. I mean, there's the Big Lebowski's very influenced by Chandler, so they would have seen this
Very,
film. Yeah,
very. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to me, it really brought the point home as to how dangerous this guy was. How
yeah.
dangerous.
And the fascinating thing about this is very much an aside, but played by Mark Rydell, director of On Golden Pond.
Yeah, I know. You don't associate that with Coke
Yeah,
bottles across the face, do you?
yeah. In
Yeah,
fact,
I can
all of his films have a kind of more gentle lilt than anything.
But Altman is vicious when it comes to Hollywood, or
Yes,
can
yes,
be. He can be vicious. He could be vicious about a lot of subjects. Viciously funny.
yeah,
And that certainly came out in The Player. When I think of Altman, I think of The Player and how he
yeah.
really came down on Hollywood in that one. But yeah. So anyway, Elliot Gould, I love him. I do love Elliot Gould. I've
Yeah.
always found him to be a very engaging and fun to watch actor. What else can we say about this movie?
Well, he's
Oh,
very good. I mean,
it's the
the
only I haven't read the book in ages, so
uh-huh.
I'm at a disadvantage there. But I understand that he didn't have a cat in the book, for one
No.
thing. Of course, it's the setting is different, right? I mean, it's set in that time rather than
Yeah.
in,
I
in
think
the.
the
But he is
thing
still a man out of his time.
he's a
Set
man of his time, but until that first Mitchum film, which is 3 years after this, they're all set contemporaneous to where they then are, which
exactly
wouldn't have been a shock. I mean, James Garner had played Marlowe in the 60s only a couple of years before. It wouldn't have been a shock for audiences to see Philip Marlowe in present day, as
right.
they all did it until that point.
Right. They were all present day. They
Yeah.
weren't going back or do anything with time. So, I mean, it's all reflective of the time that it's in. which is what
Yeah.
this movie is like. It's so reflective of the time it was made.
Yes.
I mean, here you are in California, you got this group of chicks across the way from Marlowe.
Yeah.
He's got a cat and weird stuff, and going out in the middle of the night, seeing all these naked women there, and it's like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
girls. Um, reminds me of all the kind of cults and weird stuff that was going on in the 70s.
Yeah.
And it's like so reflective of its time, and at the same time shows you stuff that's out of time.
Yeah.
And I had to laugh that gatekeeper at the gated community
Yes.
doing those impressions.
Doing impressions that then would have been 30 years old.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
know. That
Yeah.
was to me was like there's Hollywood hanging on to itself, gating itself in its little community,
Yeah.
holding on to its precious stars from way back. But some of us remember that fondly. Some of us lived it, some of us didn't. Many of us didn't. So anyway, but it's really an interesting touch in a movie that talks about Hollywood the way it does.
Yeah. And it's harking back to period you imagine Philip Marlowe in, and so it sort of
Hmm.
adds that man out of time thing. As does Sterling Hayden's part as Roger Wade, the kind of he's clearly a man who proves himself without a time, that his kind of
Yeah,
his great years are behind him.
right, right.
Yeah.
And he's a very sad character.
Well, it's the character in the book most based on Chandler himself, an
Hmm,
alcoholic author writing about an alcoholic author.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean,
Hmm,
if you feel this is we go into it, this is kind of written as his wife is dying, which may have, add that more elegiac tone than the others necessarily have. And it may, there is a certain strain of loneliness right the way through the books, but it's particularly prevalent in The Long Goodbye. We see that's the book where there's a long paragraph about the state of his life ending on, and if I died tomorrow, the bottom wouldn't fall out of anyone's life. It's an incredibly sad line.
oh my.
Yeah. And you wonder, and the book after this is Playback, which is, a nothing of a book
Hmm.
and goes nowhere. But again, it's kind of like that's his mourning his wife book.
Wow.
The one after that is Poodle Springs, where Philip Marlowe was married to someone
Hmm.
who's in the Long Goodbye or reappears at the end of Playback and is then married to him in Poodle Springs. And it does. Yeah, maybe it's kind of a wish fulfillment from Chandler of just kind of I'd like to be married again
Hmm.
and not a
Yeah.
drunk drowning myself in the Californian Ocean.
Oh my. Isn't that something?
I
Uh, let's see.
mean, all the performances are really good.
Oh yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
they are. They're great.
yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Henry Gibson look so creepy.
I mean, Gibson did. I mean, like the Burbs, the Joe Dante film from the '80s. He's the sinister neighbor in that.
Really?
Yeah. See, I mean, that I think that's. I mean, 'cause I was very far too young to laugh at it. I'm not sure how much it was shown in this country anyway. But that's my kind of main. Him being quite creepy is how I generally think of him.
Really? That's interesting
Yeah,
because the first time I ever saw him was on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In.
yeah,
So to me, I always associated him with comedy.
yeah,
And when he did other Altman films where he played somewhat comedic,
yeah.
satirical comedy type stuff. And so to me, this was like, oh, creepy.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, yeah, there was a thing I was noticing, the whole concept of alcoholism and creepy doctors who administer drugs seem to come up a lot in the Chandler novels.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the kind of Hollywood thing of you'd have stars disappearing to private hospitals, and
Yes.
if
Yeah,
you're
that's
outside, you
right.
wouldn't know what was happening inside them.
Oh man, that is such a weird thought.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let the
Yeah.
imagination run wild.
Yeah, there was a lot of that back then, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of hard partying going on, and then people had to go someplace and dry out or get an abortion or something like that,
Well, it's always difficult. It's
always
always
done
difficult to know.
quietly.
I mean, it's the same thing now. It's like, people get stress, and that might be actual stress, or it might be an addiction to morphine or something. It's all,
Hmm.
yeah. There,
Yeah.
there's a sort of magnitude of sins where studios would just hide it. X has gone to hospital for, an actress has gone to a hospital for this, and then a year later she adopts a baby, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's how that
I mean, there's a
happened.
whole, you could have Eddie Mannix force at
Oh,
MGM. I'm sure
yeah.
he had private hospitals left, right, and centre.
Eddie
Um,
Mannix. I
yeah.
was just thinking of him. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
there's a, I'm
there
sorry.
is that kind of thing in kind of Hollywood law, and
Hmm.
Chandler's very clued into that.
Oh, yeah. Very
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Very much so.
And it kind of
Um,
keeps the kind of timelessness, as even in the 1970s, it feels current.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting because he's a man out of his time. And at the same time, there's a feel about Elliot Gould as Philip Marlowe here, almost like he's an anti-establishment Marlowe.
yeah,
So he's more than just out of his time. He's just against the man, so to speak, the
yeah.
cops, the fuzz.
Wait, I mean, see what he's against, what he's for. I think he's for kind of fairness. He's
Hmm.
for the truth. And he's the only one.
He's the only one who cares. Yeah,
Yeah, and that makes him look anti-establishment. Kind of like, I'm trying to work out what's going on here,
exactly.
and everybody else is far too happy to brush the whole thing under the carpet and
Right.
move on.
So yeah, that's interesting. This
Yeah,
is the only time I can remember, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong. This is the only time I can recall that Philip Marlowe has ever shot anybody in what could someone could consider revenge.
in revenge. Yeah, I mean, Bogart certainly shoots people.
Hmm.
Pretty sure he does. But
He,
never, and never like it comes back to him wanting honesty and the truth, and that his entire motivation is he wants to prove his friend innocent.
right.
Yeah,
And
and
then he
when he
finds
doesn't
out
prove
he's
his
ever so
friend innocent,
wrong. Yeah.
yeah, he knows no one will do anything about it. That Terry has money.
Hmm.
Um, Mrs. Wade, whatever that kind of her first name is, but who's now with Terry, she has money, so they can just afford to buy peace and quiet. So it's up to Marlowe to fight for the truth.
Yeah.
And I suppose that is to say that's like the shocking moment of Marty Augustine. That's the other shocking moment of the film is how it ends.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a loser. Yeah, I even lost my cat. And you don't know until
I
that point he even has a gun. There's no indication before that point
exactly.
he
Yeah,
even has a gun.
it comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
and it
almost
is. It is. I find it a fantastic ending. I think that's the one. The more than anything else, that's the bit Marlowe purists would go. Well, no, that's not. That's not how it would happen in the books.
So what happened in the book?
In the book, um, Well, in the book, it's Roger Wade's wife who does it, not Terry. But Terry kind of um, taken the fall for it.
Ah.
So at the end of the book, a Mexican comes into um, Marlowe's office, and Marlowe realizes it's actually Terry. It's the facial reconstruction. So they
Oh,
have this
wow.
conversation, and Terry's like, "We will be friends," and no, not really. Oh yeah, Marlowe says, "Yeah, I never saw him again."
I want to read the book now. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm shortchanging myself a little bit by not reading the book before I see these movies.
I remember rightly, man, like the first 80, 100 pages of the book, it's just kind of Terry and Marlowe's friendship.
Uh-huh.
And then the murder
Oh,
happens.
a meditation on friendship followed by a
Yeah.
mystery. Interesting. I was just comparing also Roger Ebert's review to somebody who wrote a review of the movie in 2006 for The
Yeah.
Hollywood Reporter. I was struck by the differences, number one, in the level of detail in
Right.
terms of analysis,
So
and
who went the most detail?
uh, Roger Ebert, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
The Hollywood Reporter was very interesting. Said something like, the plot doesn't quite come together the way it should, but somehow it all works. Yeah, he
Yeah.
didn't sort of words to that effect, and I'm like, you seem to be missing the point. This is Philip Marlowe we're talking about. It's about style. It's about the language he uses. It's a,
Yeah.
somebody missed the point there somewhere because
Yeah.
it's making fun of the genre. This is part of
Yeah.
it. And this is part
Yeah.
of Raymond Chandler. Raymond Chandler famously is more about his language than, oh well, you're not okay, a cinephile, maybe.
Yeah.
You're just writing this as a person who enjoys watching movies. I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that Roger Ebert did a bang up job with analyzing this movie and looking at some of the various parts of it. Although I thought it was really interesting. One of the things about this movie that always gets me is that it's so mu like movies of the 70s in the sense that the 70s just seemed to fall in love with taking photographs of naked women. But you never
Yeah.
saw a naked man. And that really
Yeah.
struck me as a teenager. Yeah, I was like, I keep seeing these naked women, but what about the naked men? That doesn't seem
You
quite.
see a lot of men in their underwear,
Yeah, there are men in their underwear.
including a
That's
Mr.
true.
Universe.
I have to admit, I'll give it that. Yeah,
Yeah.
men in their underwear. At
Yeah.
last. At
One of those men
last.
is obviously Mr. Universe
Yes. Yes.
because Arnold Schwarzenegger's
Yes.
there.
So, but I mean, films of the 70s really seem to. It's just that I had recently seen Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland and Julie
Yes.
Christie.
Yeah.
There's this sex scene that just goes on and
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
on and on. And I said, geez, we get the idea. But I'm looking at it from a modern perspective. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, we see this on TV all the time. We know what it looks like. But back then, that
Yeah.
was like daring. This was daring stuff.
Yes.
Edgy, you know. That's the way kind of this film is for its time, for the time that it was made. This was very edgy stuff and different, I would
I
say.
think it still does feel a bit edgy
Part
and
of a
different even
trend,
now.
part of a
Yeah.
definite, distinct trend. I'm not saying it was
Yeah.
an outlier. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it was edgy compared to what
Yeah.
Hollywood was used to doing. Part of that
Yeah.
whole wave of filmmakers who wanted to do things that were a little outrageous.
It feels like an outlier even now. But you mentioned the Big Lebowski. That would be one. You don't often have mystery films that seemingly have so little interest in their own mystery. A lot
Yeah,
of the time,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, or just have this I don't know how there's that feeling of disconnection that he has with everything, kind of
Yeah,
like as if somehow, you know, he's walking through these scenarios and something will happen and he'll say, well, that's okay with me.
yeah,
I'm off to the next thing, I got to find out what's going on and everybody's acting weird and Who who owes what money? Yeah, that's another thing that Roger Ebert brought up about all this lack of clarity, who's lying?
yeah,
Which one of these people is lying? Who do you believe in this scenario? Do you believe her? Do you believe him? Do you believe the
yeah.
doctor? Augustine? Who do you believe?
Well, Augustine gets all his money back, which is why
He
he lets
does.
Marlowe go. So Harry had
Right.
borrowed that money to presumably set up life in Mexico. So what is he currently living in or living on in the end?
Good question.
If he's
Yeah.
had to give Marlowe all his money back. It's one of those.
Marlowe was doing him a favor, shooting
Yeah.
him. I don't know, man. And then the woman who's coming back the other way as he's walking away,
Yeah.
that's Mrs. Wade, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of have that suggestion of Mrs. Wade's involvement,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe she's the one with the money.
Maybe, but yeah, they're in it together.
He said something about how I'm living with someone who has everything I could need.
Yeah.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, it's the whole thing is more of a betrayal than I mean, the end of the book is just totally different.
Well, it's
Interesting.
I mean, the end of the book is always kind of it's a betrayal of his friendship, and I think the end of the film is also. I mean, I think kind of visual shorthand is supposed to sort of key you into the fact that they're friends, but not you never because you don't see it really apart from the beginning. You never get the impression of how friends they are, particularly when
Yeah.
Elliot Gould is so disconnected from everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this guy just kind of drops by and says, "Hey, I need a ride." So you
Yeah,
never really get to know the friendship part of it.
yeah. And you've got the girls across the way getting him to buy them brownie mix in the middle of the night. So it feels like
Yeah.
he does favors left, right, and centre for, for
Yeah.
all kinds of actors.
Oh God. Those girls and their brownie mix. Jeez. I'm like rolling my eyes. Oh my. But I have to say I have a better appreciation for the movie now than I did before. Watching it with a, say, open mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Being more, maybe as a person who studies screenplays and film now. I don't know. Maybe I just appreciate it more with age. Who knows?
I've not seen it in years, but I did really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Good
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. I watched it
Better,
and it's what, yeah, it's one of the best Marlowe adaptations.
definitely.
Yeah.
Better than the one Lady in the Lake.
Well, yes.
But that's a low bar. So I'm sorry, but it's not, it just didn't work.
I think the Brush of the Bloom was kind of the low point of where we're aiming at here.
That's a good point. Fair point indeed.
This Lady of the
Rasher
Lake
the
is attempting to
balloon,
do
or
something.
which one is worse? Maybe I'll pose this in a survey. Which
Yeah,
one is worse? Rasher the balloon rather than which one is best?
yeah.
Which one
Which
would you like to
Montgomery brother
see?
did it worse?
Maybe I'll throw the long goodbye in there just for the hell of it. Maybe I'll throw the big sleep in there just for the hell of it. Which one is worse? Which one of these great classic movies is worse? Citizen Kane or I don't know,
Casablanca.
Casablanca. Thank
Yeah.
you. Two great classic movies. Which of these movies is worse? Casablanca, because why the hell wouldn't she just tell him? No, you have to spend the whole movie putzing around.
Yeah.
Gee, how
You
would you
know,
expect him to react walking
are
in
people
like
really
that?
that haunted by their childhood surgeries? Who knows?
I don't know, man. It's all very strange. It's a very
Yeah,
strange movie, but nonetheless, I still like it. I'm
yeah,
still moved by it. I think the basic message is wonderful, and
yeah,
the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or something like that. That's
yeah.
Star Trek, but same thing. What are the problems of
I
one
think it's Churchill actually,
couple?
but yeah.
Mm, right. Churchill. Churchill said all sorts of wonderful things.
Yeah.
When you're going
Maybe
through
it's
hell,
an odd
keep
thing,
going.
isn't it? In that the book they're all adapted from the same author's work. It'd be very difficult to compare the Big Sleep with the Bogart, the Big Sleep
Oh,
with the Long
yeah.
Goodbye, because they're very different animals.
They are. Yeah, I mean,
You
they
know,
are. They're just
yeah,
completely. You have the standard private eye setup in The Big Sleep. This is
yeah,
hardly the standard private eye setup.
yeah,
This is not a client. This is a friend. He's doing
yeah,
a favor for a friend
yeah.
and
He's
finds
later
himself in a
hired as
situation.
he's later hired by as um
Yes.
detective. It's a very Raymond Chandler trope. I mean, it happens in Farewell by Lovely as well as the obvious example of you know hired. He meets Mr. Lawyer and he's hired for another job, but of course the two of them end up being
Yes.
connected, and that's a
Yes.
thing that happens in Philip Marlowe. They're getting hired on the
Yes.
second job. They're gonna
Yes,
give
yes,
them a
it's
first.
always this complicating second thing that comes along. It's
Yeah.
like, how many cases do you have, Philip? Are there like three or four out there that we don't know about that you're also handling?
Yes. He
Are
doesn't have
they
enough
all
to do his
connected
Paul.
too? Does everybody just know everybody where you live? Is that what happens? It all becomes very incestuous. Eventually, you know all the players, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
LA is a very small town.
It is a very small town.
Yeah.
It is really.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's Bay City or San Diego or whatever it is.
I mean, the other thing in the books is like you have Eddie Mars in The Big Sleep. I can't remember if the gangster is called Marty Augustine in The Long Goodbye, and there's other gangsters coming to play along the way, and it's like
Yeah.
all these gangsters seem to exist in separate pockets. Like he
Yes.
runs into the
Yes.
same one again and again.
You've got the evil, possibly doctor, the
Yeah.
evil Marty Augustine,
Yes.
the cops coming to his place and basically dragging him to the station house to interrogate him.
Yeah. It's a busy day.
Yeah, it's a busy day for Marlowe.
Yeah.
He has a lot on his plate.
Yes.
Ah, what more can we say about the long goodbye? Hmm.
I think it's your early it's your 1970s masterpiece.
Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
mean, when I think of masterpieces, I tend to think of Chinatown, but that's me.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that one next month. So,
Ooh, I
yeah,
love that movie.
I
Oh, I love that movie so
mean that's
much.
also Raymond Chandler influenced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one thing I read about this film. I couldn't work out if it was actually true or just a story. There was a scene they filmed where Elliot Gould and Philip Marlowe gets in a lift, and next to him is Queen, and they travel down the lift in silence. At the end of it, Eva Queen says to him, Marlowe, and Elliot Gould says Spade, and then they go their separate ways. And
That would be so cool.
I don't know, I think it sounds so cool on paper. One of those which really takes you completely out of the film. I was going, what's
I
Eva Queen here?
know.
Hang on, is
I
he
mean,
playing
they
Sam Spade? What's happening now?
wasn't Sam Spade in San Francisco?
There is that, yeah.
Did he move to Los Angeles or did Did Marlowe move to San Francisco? I didn't see any hills. Uh, did I? No, just
No, it's very
beach.
much in LA.
Very, very much LA, yeah.
Yeah.
Spade moves to LA, yeah. Well, he moves to France on Netflix, I think. I think it was Netflix where I saw that one. The
That's the Sam Spade one, was it?
yeah, there was Monsieur Spade.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I think the producer or the somebody on that project has a company called the Flitcraft Company or Flitcraft Productions. I don't know, I'll have to
Right.
look it up again.
Okay.
I thought that was very interesting, Flitcraft, because of the story of Flitcraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably know that from the novel, maybe?
I think I remember it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little digression that never made it into the movie. Uh, where are you going to put it? It's like doesn't belong. But it's a
Yes.
really interesting little story. Anyhow, enough about
Anyhow.
that. So next time, Chinatown.
Next time Chinatown, yes.
All right, I
Just
love it.
staying in detective stories from the 1970s.
Yes, with
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson as the private eye, Jake
And
Gittes,
the director of Maltese Falcon,
John
John Huston.
Huston as an old man with an agenda.
Yes.
All right, then. Take care. See you
Right.
next time, next
See you
month.
next time.